Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props for today, I suggest having a couple hard blocks, maybe a soft block, and then anything else you'd like to practice with. When you're ready, we'll get started down on the back today, but if you'd rather be in a seated meditation or something like that, then go for it. If you're coming down to the back, set up any Shavasana-like shape, anything comfortable, symmetrical side to side, and check in to see if the body needs any extra support. Maybe adding props under the thighs or maybe soft block as a pillow. Take a moment to settle the shoulder blades onto the floor. Let the arms be wherever they feel the most comfortable. If any part of you feels a little fidgety, maybe give yourself some movement to help you settle in. Coming to find your stillness as you feel ready, either closing down the eyes or softening, steadying the gaze. Gently deepen the breath. With each inhale, finding a sense of space in the body. With each exhale, a sense of grounding and softening. Continuing this breath, when you feel ready, introduce some slight movement. Maybe give the head a rock side to side. Maybe a little pedaling through the feet, through the ankles, rotating the wrists. Allowing the movements to get a little bigger. And when you feel ready, you can extend the arms all the way to the floor overhead. Scoot the hips over to the left a little bit and take the feet towards the right. Take the arms towards the right until you're in a crescent moon shape. And keep that left side of the pelvis nice and heavy. Find that stretch with the whole left side of the body. And you could exaggerate this further. You could bend the elbows if you like, or you can cross left over right for the feet and for the hands. Gently unravel everything back to center. And then take the hips over to the right, arms and legs towards the left. And you can mirror what you did on the first side, making sure that right side of the pelvis is heavy. And keep your deep breaths going here. Gently bringing everything back to center. We'll meet in a tabletop position, so think about how you'd like to transition there. You can roll down to one side. You could gently rock and roll up to a seat. Taking the next couple breaths, and we'll meet in tabletop. If there's anything you need along the way, then go for it. And setting yourself up with the knees roughly underneath the hips, the hands roughly underneath the shoulders, and take some time to add some padding if you need it. When you're ready with an inhale, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space. And with your exhale, bring the chin in towards the chest, press the hands to the floor, and dome the upper back generously. Inhale, belly button towards the floor, tailbone and heart lift. And exhale, reverse. Flowing your cat-cow with your breath at your pace. You can also pause anywhere along the way. And if your body's asking for anything extra here, feel free to add on as you're ready. And we're about halfway there, so if you've added something with two sides, then just make sure you have even time in both. One full round. Awesome. When you return to your tabletop position, bring the elbows down to the floor, elbows roughly underneath the shoulders. See what works for your forearm plank. You can either keep the forearms parallel or you can bring the hands together if that feels better. Find that grounding of the forearms, of the elbows into the floor, and then you can step one foot and then the other to the back of the mat. If you want to lower the knees, go for it. Now they'll be behind the hips. If the knees are lifted, keep the legs active here. Really press the feet into the floor. Find that stretch from the heels to the crown of the head. Chest is proud, elbows keep pressing down too. Maybe there's something that can soften a little bit here, but keep breathing as deeply as you can. Finding those deep, smooth inhales and those deep, smooth exhales. Awesome. Last full inhale and exhale. Deep inhale and lower the knees and then the pelvis and then the chest down to the floor. And take the arms nice and wide. You can either do palms flat or you can work from fingertips. Inhale, breath, lift the heart through center. As you exhale, twist left and dip the right shoulder towards the floor. Inhale, come up. And second side. Keep going with your breath at your pace. And you can still pause anywhere you need. And the whole inhale to lift. And the whole exhale to dip. Last one each side. Inhale, lift and center. And lower down. Bring the hands under the shoulders, press back up to tabletop. And then keeping the knees together, take the hips towards the heels, and then lower the chest towards the floor for child's pose. And see if you'd benefit from an extra prop here. And maybe you'd like something between hips and heels, or maybe the knees or forehead need a little padding. With each inhale, finding that sense of space. With your exhales, imagine the spine getting a little heavier towards the floor. Your arms can stay as they are, or if you like, connect the palms, and then bend the elbows, pointing the fingertips towards the ceiling. Maybe the thumbs come towards the back of the neck. You're welcome to stay in your child's pose for as long as it serves you. Only when you feel ready to move on, you can reach the hands towards the top of the mat, press the palms to the floor, and grip the finger pads into the floor, and then pull the body up to a tabletop position. And tuck the toes, lift the knees, and then press the hips up and back. We'll find downward facing dog. And pedal out the heels a little bit, and stretch out the backs of the legs. The hands are actively pressing the floor away. Find a sense of stability in the shoulders. If at any point you need to modify your down dog, then maybe tabletop is a good place to be. And the hips high, spine heavy, head heavy. Finding your stillness as you're ready. And take a moment to check in here, scan from the feet to the head. Only when you feel ready with an inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. With your exhale, step the left foot forward between the hands, finding your high lunge. So if you need to hop the back foot a little closer, or if you want to widen your base a little bit, then go for it. Really anchor the feet into the floor, and as you're ready, come on up. If things are a little wobbly, give yourself a moment to adjust. And then check in with the pelvis for a moment. So notice if the left hip is in front of the right. See if you can line them up so that they're even side to side. You can shorten your base, adjust anything you need to. And when you're ready, reach your arms out in front and palms together. Gaze can stay forward the first time or the whole time. And as you inhale, start to open the left arm towards the left to find a twist. And with your exhale, bring that left hand back to center. And we'll do the same side. Inhale. And exhale. And do 3 more with your breath. Last one. Awesome. And keep the hands in center and slowly lower the back knee down to the floor. If you need to pad the back knee, then go for it. And you can keep the back toes tucked or you can untuck them. From here, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. You can separate the hands if that's better for the shoulders. And palms can either stay together, pointing up, or you can bend the elbows, maybe the thumbs towards the back of the neck. Notice the low back. If it feels like it needs a little more support, you could imagine hugging the pubic bone towards the belly button, just to engage the core a little bit more. Breathe here. Awesome. Inhale breath, reach the arms back up, and then bring the hands down to the inside of the left foot. You can heel toe the left foot towards the left edge of the mat. And setting up a lizard lunge so you can angle the left foot however it feels the most comfortable. Maybe shifting the right knee a little further back. And then if you're happy here, you can stay. If you want to explore lowering down to the elbows, then go for it. And if the floor is a little far away, then you can use your hard blocks to bring it closer. If you want to stretch a little deeper into that right hip flexor as well, you could also think about lifting the right knee back up off the floor. And keep breathing wherever you are. Awesome. We're going to transition to a forearm plank. So if you have the elbows to the floor and you feel like you have space that you want to step the left foot back, then go for it. Alternatively, come up onto the hands first and step back, and then you can lower down onto the forearms. So same again though, setting up the elbows roughly underneath the shoulders and forearms either parallel or together. We're not going to stay in the forearm plank this time. So start to lift the hips and start to walk the feet a little bit closer and coming to find your dolphin dog. So from your dolphin, just like down dog, give yourself a little moment, pedal out the heels, make any other movement you need to. The forearms are really anchoring you to the floor. The feet are pressing the floor away as well. Breathe here. All right, one last inhale. And with your exhale, you can step the feet back, you can lower the knees, and then bring yourself up to a kneeling position. See if anything needs a little shakeout and go for it. We're going to set up for camel here, and I'll invite you to use your hard blocks for this. You can use the highest setting, just know that it might be a little more wobbly, but definitely if the floor feels far away, then this is the one to go with. And you can do feet tucked or untucked. We're going to set up the hands roughly in line with the feet, so straight away starting from a back bend. You could also come up from a seat, so from a rock pose, maybe the hands behind you, and start to lift the hips from here. You can come in however you like, and if you want to make it more intense, maybe you're bringing the hands a little closer, or maybe you're letting the hands go a little closer to the floor. Either way, find that hug from the pubic bone to the belly button. Make sure it's a pain-free expression. And if you find the breath getting a little shallow, maybe there's something you can adjust in the body to breathe a little more easily. If you want to stay for a few more breaths, then go for it. When the time comes to come out, you can walk your hands back if you brought them forward and slowly let the pelvis come back down. We'll pause in a kneeling shape. If it feels better to make yourself a seat with your blocks and place them between the ankles, then go for it. And if kneeling puts too much pressure on the knees, then feel free to find a seat instead. When you arrive, maybe close down the eyes. And rest the hands where they're comfortable. And gently grounding the pelvis. And keeping the spine nice and tall. The shoulders soft. The back of the neck long. You can choose stillness for as long as you need. You might think about reintroducing a little movement, maybe a seated cat-cow or some gentle twists side to side. And in about 8 breaths, we'll meet in downward facing dog. So you can do whatever you need between now and then. And there's no rush to arrive in your down dog. When you do, take the first couple of breaths to set yourself up. And then coming to your stillness, connect with your breath. All right, and then when you're ready with an inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. Big step forward with the right foot as you exhale. And take a moment to find your balance, adjust your feet straight away if you need to. And then with a strong belly, come on up and we'll find a high crescent lunge. And check in here. Encourage that right hip back, left hip forward so that the pelvis is balanced. And then extend the arms out in front, palms together. Inhale, breath, open the right arm towards the right. Gaze can stay forward for balance. And then with your exhale, bring it back. And same side, inhale. And exhale. 3 more. Last one. Awesome. Deep inhale here. And lower the back knee to the floor. And take a moment to adjust. Add some padding where you need it. And then when you're ready, you can reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Feel free to separate the hands if that's better for the shoulders. If the hands are staying together, the option is there to bend the elbows, thumbs towards the back of the neck. And keep the integrity through the spine, through the core. And settle in here. Find your breath. Inhale, breath, release the arms back up. And exhale, bring them to the floor on the inside of the right foot. You can heel toe the right foot to the right and then angle up the foot to accommodate the knee, the hip, and the ankle. And setting up for your lizard lunge so you can stay here. You can lower down to the elbows, whether they're on props or on the floor. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. If you did so on the first side, you can tuck the back toes and lift the back knee up. Find your shape, maybe close down the eyes or steady the gaze. And especially if the back knee is lifted, keep that leg active. Heel to the crown of the head, find that length. Awesome. Think about your transition to forearm plank. Will it be a step back or will you come up onto the hands first? There's no rush to arrive. We won't keep forearm plank. Start to bring the feet in. Start to lift the hips high to find your dolphin. Elbows, forearms really anchoring you to the floor. Feet pressing down as well. Hips nice and high. If you need to move out the legs a little bit, then go for it. And option this round, if you want to explore bringing the feet a little closer towards the elbows, then go for it to see what that feels like. Let the head hang nice and heavy. Awesome. If you want a few more breaths, then go for it. Otherwise, walk the feet back a little bit, lower the knees to the floor, and then come up to a kneeling position. Take a moment to find the shape. We're going to set up for camel once again. So see either starting high and coming down, or maybe starting low and then lifting the hips high. Listen to your body, and it's okay if the expression is a little different to the first round. Maybe you want something a little more gentle this time. Maybe you want something a little more intense. Either way, it's a pain-free expression. And make sure you're still breathing. When you feel ready, you can walk the hands back, lower the hips down. And come and find your kneeling position, using any of your props for support. And pelvis heavy, spine proud, shoulders soft. And only when you feel ready, start to move again. See what movement feels nice for the spine. Maybe some twists or some side stretches. Maybe a seated cat-cow. And we're going to set up for one last forearm plank. And we're going to hold this one for a minute. So you're welcome to come for that. And if you want to skip it, then maybe you want to be in child's pose, or you could come to down dog, or you could come back to dolphin. If you're coming with me, just take a moment to set yourself up. Find that connection, whatever's touching the floor, grounding into it. If the knees are lifted, then that straight line from the backs of the legs. Breathe wherever you are. Last little bit. And take a final inhale. And then lower the knees, the pelvis, the chest to the floor. And release your arms down by your sides. And take a pause here. You can rest the head to one side if you like. Maybe give the hips a little movement. And we're going to set up locust pose. So you can set up the hands by your sides with the palms pressing down. You can also grip the edges of your mat. If you have space and you'd like to, you can interlace the hands behind the back as well. And take a moment to press the big toes together and then flex the legs so you feel the kneecaps lift up off the floor. Imagine you had a zipper going down the inside of your legs and you're zipping that closed. So really find that tight engagement. And then pressing the pelvis to the floor. With an inhale, lift anything you like up off the floor. Think about lifting with length, so the crown of the head reaching forward, the toes reaching towards the back. If the hands are interlaced at the back, you can think about lifting fist up off the bum. Otherwise, whatever is touching the floor keeps grounding. Keep breathing here. Imagine that lightness, that sense of space with your inhales. And soften anything you don't need with your exhales. All right. If you like a few more breaths, then stay. Otherwise, lower everything back down. You can stack the palms under the head. Maybe turn the gaze towards the right. If you like to slide the right knee up towards the right, then go for it. If the head is turned, bring it to center. Re-extend the right leg. And then you can turn the gaze towards the left. Maybe bring the left knee up. Bringing the head back to center, bring the leg back to center. And press yourself up to tabletop. Then hips towards the heels. Come and find your child's pose. Notice the body here. If there's anything you can adjust in your shape to help the body feel a little more comfortable, then please do. Notice the breath. Maybe it's still a little choppy from the locust pose or from the forearm plank. And see if you can invite it to become a little more easeful. When you feel ready to move, you can start to walk the hands back in, lifting yourself up to a kneel and then slide the hips off to one side. You can extend the legs here, maybe give the backs of the knees a little tap or windshield wiper the feet side to side. When you're ready, we'll set up for a wide-legged stance here, and you can sit up off the edge of one of your props. Setting the legs open, and then we'll bring one foot in. And if the knee is floating like mine is, then you might choose to support that. We're going to fold to the middle of the leg, so imagine that they're both still open and you're going right into the middle. Listen to your body, so if staying upright feels like a better option for you, maybe this already feels kind of effortful, you could have the hands by your sides and breathe here. Or if you're ready to come to a fold, then start with a tall spine, and then hinging from the hips, start to bring the belly and the chest towards the floor any amount. If you want to lower to the elbows or maybe onto props or something like that, then go for it. Imagine that you're still folding with some length in the spine and still have some space across the chest. Notice your hips here as well. I find sometimes keeping the left foot flexed or even pointing the toes slightly behind you makes this a little bit more comfortable. So if you are feeling pinching or anything like that, just take your time. You can come out and then readjust. Slowly, with the support of the hands, start to lift yourself back up. If you have a prop underneath the right knee, you can move it. And then take the right hand over towards the right and come up to standing on that right shin. You can turn the left foot down straight away. So we're roughly lining up the right hand, the right knee, and the left foot. And then start to lift the hips a little bit, reach the left arm up and over, and find a full side body stretch. If you like to take this into a bit of a back bend as well, you can start to turn the chest open towards the ceiling any amount. You could catch the back of the head, and be wherever you need to be, and breathe for a few deep breaths. Mindful that the right shoulder stays steady. You can keep the right hand pressing to the floor. And when you're ready, with an exhale, slowly lowering the pelvis back down. You can release both your legs, give them a little shake out, a tap, windshield wiper. And when you're ready, we'll set that up on the second side. So start off, find your wide-legged stance, see what feels comfortable. Awesome, and then this time we'll bend the left knee in, and you can support the knee with a prop. And check in to see if this side needs something a little different. If this side feels painful in any way, then please modify the option to stay upright here, or hinging from the hips, leading with the belly. Start to bring yourself forward and down any amount. You can pause before you start to round, so keep a little bit of length in the spine, keep a little bit of space across the chest. Settle into your shape. Slowly start to walk the hands back in, lifting up, and you can move your prop if you have one under the left knee. Take the left hand down to the left, lift the hips up, turn the right foot in, roughly lining up left hand, left knee, right foot, and press the pelvis forward, reach the right arm up and over. Find that stretch from the right foot to the right hand, and if you'd like to open the heart towards the ceiling, then go for it. Make sure the left shoulder feels steady. You might imagine an external rotation. Keep the left hand active. Last couple of deep breaths here. Awesome. With an exhale, slowly lower back down. And release the legs, give them a good shake out. Maybe tap the knees. And when you're ready from here, we'll lower down onto the back. I would have either one or both of your hard blocks nearby because they might be handy. And then you can come down any way you like. Once the spine touches down, scoot the hips over to the left a little bit, and then extend the right leg long down the mat. You can use the hands to guide the left knee across the body and coming to find your reclined twist. Maybe the left knee rests on the blocks. You can keep the arm holding it. Just the weight of the arm might be enough. If you want to take the left arm out towards the left, then go for it. And if you want to take the gaze down towards the left as well, then go for it. See if there's anything that needs just a little adjustment here. Find your stillness as you're ready. You can return the head back to center and then gently unravel the legs back to center, the hips. If your blocks were handy, you can take them down to the other side. And then scoot the hips over to the right, extend the left leg, and then you can guide that right knee across the body, maybe to land on props. Maybe the right arm reaches to the right, and maybe the gaze will come down and follow it. Maybe this side feels a little different to the first, so make any adjustments you need to. And then come and find your stillness in the shape. Gently bring the gaze back to center. Release the rest of the body back to center as well. You can bend the knees and then take the feet a little bit wider apart and see how it feels to give yourself a nice slow windshield wiper with the knees. You can keep this going, or you can take a knee in each hand, maybe start to circle. And if you're going one direction, then change it to the other. And see what shape you'd like to rest in today. I'm going to offer butterfly legs, so you can land the feet together and then let the knees open nice and wide. You can choose the distance between the feet and the pelvis that feels good in your body. If you want to bring a block under each thigh so that the legs feel like they have something to rest in, then go for it. And if you'd like any other symmetrical pose to rest in, or a seated meditation, or even child's pose, then go for it. And take your time to quiet down the body, make any adjustments to the space that you're in. You can start to release the breath to its natural inhale and exhale. Notice the space between the eyebrows, the space around the eyes, the space around the mouth. Maybe you can soften them. Let the arms be heavy and the legs be heavy. Find your stillness. Gently deepen the breath to reawaken the body. You might reach down to bring the knees back together. Maybe taking the feet wide and the knees together. Pausing for a few breaths. When you like, you might extend the legs long down the mat and give the feet a little windshield wiper side to side. You might reach the arms up overhead. Give yourself a full body stretch, reaching the toes, the feet, maybe pedaling the legs a little, wiggling the shoulders or the spine. When you like, you can bring the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the shins, forehead to the knees, curl into a ball and give yourself a hug and a squeeze. Maybe a little rock side to side. And then give yourself a gentle rock up and down the spine, mindful not to put pressure on the neck. And then if you like, you can start to build up momentum, and eventually we'll come up to meet in a seat. And come and find any comfortable seated position using any of your props. And take a moment to settle the hips, lengthen the spine, soften the shrug muscles. Let the hands land wherever they feel the most comfortable. Notice anything that comes up. Notice the gentle flow of your breath. Perhaps connecting the hands at the heart and bowing the chin towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your breath and your energy today. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for Hatha practice today. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your day.